Welcome to the Meadowlands Chamber of Commerce Emerging Leaders Podcast, aimed at helping you excel and take your professional career to the next level. Sponsored by Henry Kaminski Jr. and www.uniquedesigns.net. Now, let's get into today's show.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another Emerging Leaders Podcast episode for you guys. Your host, Henry Kaminski Jr. with my man, Fernando Valencia in the house, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Jim Kirkos.
Good morning, boys. How we doing today?
What's going on, fellas?
All right, all good, guys. On this dreary, rainy day, but I'm all stoked up about upcoming Meadowlands Millennial Mastermind, and I know we've dedicated today's session to kind of inform our listeners about what the mastermind is all about, and what kinds of content will be delivered that day. Just as a recap, the Meadowlands Millennial Mastermind is a brand new event that we've created to advance the emerging leader initiative within the Meadowlands Chamber. It's an event that takes place from 5:30 to 8:30 at the tail end of our Bergen Business Expo, which is on Wednesday, May 8th at the Venetian in Garfield, New Jersey. The Bergen Business Expo is now in its sixth year. The last 3 years have been absolute sellouts of tabletops and booths. And the day is a powerful networking lunch where we will have a keynote speaker from Grow by Google, which is really exciting. We just solidified that deal this morning. And then we'll have the show floor open for a few hours. And at the tail end of the day, there'll be an evening reception with food stations and beer and wine. And we'll have this Meadowlands Millennial Mastermind. So let's give our listeners a little taste of what they're going to get. Let's start with you, Fernando. Why don't you give a little summary of some of the content that we'll hear that night?
So amongst the mountains of things that we're going to go through social media and the importance of branding, one of the topics that I'm going to really gear ourselves to is the narrative. It's the story. It's the ability to storytell and the importance of storytelling now, where as much as I want to go like super high level, I still believe that the masses need to understand the give value first mentality, the jab, 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 right hook mentality, where it's not every single marketing piece on your Instagram or your Facebook doesn't need to be a direct ask or a direct sale. On the other end, what I want them to walk away with is knowing what VBM and EBM stands for. That's value-based marketing and educational-based marketing. Where in the world we live in today, people want to feel like they're part of something. They want to feel like they're part of a community. And when you walk into a car dealership, you're not part of a community. You're walking into a pitch fest. And you don't want your company or your brand to feel that way. You want your brand to feel almost like a Google, a place of information where anyone can go if they're interested in something specific. Let's say a lawyer or a real estate agent. We don't want to tell them how we're going to serve them, what our fees are. We want to tell them, this is what most people ask. These are the problems that we solve. This is the fears that most people walk in with. And these are the testimonials to prove to you that we're going to make you feel a different way. So my main focus is really about storytelling, the narrative, and the importance of educating and giving value as much as possible. Because if you don't, people are just not going to tend to stay, and they're going to browse by you in the plethora of brands and advertisers that you get online now.
And that's really perfect, Fernando, because I so many times, even at our monthly general membership meeting, when people will come in, I try to explain to them all the time that this is a relationship building opportunity, and people buy from people that they trust and that they know and that they like, and that's not something you can do if all you're ever doing is just pitching. And so the content of what you're going to deliver will reinforce the real networking value and building your brand and making sure that it's more than just skin deep, and that people will do that. Henry, how about you? Tell us a little bit about your approach to building personal brands, and maybe talk a little bit about how it's not only, because both of your messages are not only good for entrepreneurs, but it's good for just just executives, young executives growing in the companies that they are and building their own personal brands and credibility so that they can rise through the ranks of their own corporate structure and build their business. So give us your take, Henry.
Absolutely, Jim. So I just want to take a half a step back for a second, and I just want to lay out the game plan for the Millennial Mastermind. So it's a 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. event, right? So there's 3 hours of time here. So I just want to break those 3 hours down real quick, just to give people a quick, high-level view. So the first hour, what the three of us have worked diligently on is finding 10 other subject matter experts, or should we say 8 other subject matter experts that are in the business of helping people live a more fulfilling life, have a stronger business, have a stronger presence in the workplace, whether they're an entrepreneur or an executive. And so we're going to have 10 different tables set up around the room, and depending on your interest, you can visit and flop from table to table to table to really pick these people's brains, because they may have information that you have been kicking around, have been confused about for years or months, and you have a chance now to sit down with somebody and ask them a real straight up question, and you might be able to get that clarity in a matter of minutes. So the first hour of the event is all of that. I can't tell you, I've been to many of these mastermind events in the past, and just that round table discussion alone has helped me get insight that has helped me explode my business. So that's the first hour. And then the second hour, we're still working out the logistics here. We do have some time left. I don't know if it's going to be a sort of a fireside chat where Jim may be the moderator, and Fernando and I are sitting next to him, and we're discussing our stories and how we've become, successes in our industry. Or we may split it up, and Fernando may have 30 minutes, I may have 30 minutes, and we may go all in. And then at the end, that last hour, open it up to the audience and just do a solid Q&A and try to get to as many questions as possible. So I just wanted to give people a real, a high level heads up on how we're trying to lay out the day so that it's so you can get the most value out of it. So to be discussed, but just to give you an idea. So as far as personal branding, that is truly my expertise. I really like to stay in my lane here when I get up and do these sort of conversations and talks to groups. And in 2019, there is no option anymore when it comes to investing in you and your personal brand, whether it's big businesses looking to hire staff, or it's an entrepreneur trying to get more business out there. People are buying from people that they know, like, and trust. And if you're not building a reputable personal brand that is going to help people get to know, like, and trust you, you're going to be out of business. So that is something that I'm going to explore deeply, because my main philosophy is this: the quality of your brand will determine the quality of your clients, and that will determine the quality of your life. So I'm going to share with you some war stories of the last 12 years of growing my business, but how I went from a freelance graphic designer making club flyers for the local bars and clubs in the area to a multi-million-dollar brand developer that's working with really big companies now, and really strong personal brands that are, I don't want to use the word guru, but truly subject matter experts in their field, and how you can create that for yourself.
Yeah, and that's perfect. And I think what's important to me, Henry, is when you talk about personal brand, I think that sometimes people always relate the word brand to a company brand, but people really have to, especially young executives and emerging leaders and millennials coming into the workplace, have to understand that their personal brand, their character, is very much a part of, which will set the direction of where they go, which direction they go, how successful they'll be, right? And so that personal brand definitely has a correlated tie to building a company brand, right? There's a lot of the same principles that go into that, but if people were to understand just how important building that personal brand of who you are, who Henry Kaminski is, what does he represent? Same thing with Fernando Valencia. When I hear Fernando Valencia's name, I understand what I'm going to get from him because I understand his brand, right? And I still try to do that with my own personal brand here at the Chamber. When someone hears my name, Jim Kirkos, I need them to correlate my name to being a good, strong, effective leader at the organization. So I have this personal quest to try to continue to build my personal brand as well. So I'm really interested in these things, and I'm interested in passing on this information to many others. And I think we're gonna get to do that real fine.
And actually, if I may, Jimmy, because we're here, and I hope I can speak for Henry on this because of your passion and your dedication. You're the one that really drew us here, and I just want to take a second to acknowledge that you're always highlighting Henry and myself, and you've created a brand. Me and Henry and I, we bought Jim. I think we bought Jim more than we bought the Chamber and the emerging leaders, and we fell in love with that. But I can say for me, 100%, I bought Jim, and Jim is a brand. And your dedication to educating and strengthening the emerging leaders in the Chamber with giving them this knowledge is impressive.
And the community. And the community, listen, when I start to talk about the Meadowlands Chamber to colleagues, this is how I start off. I am part of one of the most active and engaged chambers in the state of New Jersey.
Period.
That doesn't happen overnight. And that doesn't happen by accident. So that is brand right there. And how does that happen? Well, the leader of the pack is driving that.
Well, listen, both of you, thank you very much. And I do have this personal quest of just becoming and continuing to become an effective leader. But I have to tell you, my team, my management team here is small. That it's me and 6 professionals, most of them, young guns. Mm-hmm. And they motivate me every day, like both of you motivate me, and the other members of the Emerging Leader Committee motivates me by how do we groom the next generation of leaders, and I'm bullish on the next generation of leaders. Right? I look at both of you. I look at my team. I look at some of the people that are involved at the organization. I'm really bullish. I think our brighter days are ahead of us as long as we can continue to have all these people flourish. And that's what this event is really all about. Continuing education, continuing understanding of what helps people build those relationships, build their personal brands, continue to grow, make them a little bit more effective. And at the same time, we all find some commonality in humanity and what's good for all of us, getting involved in not-for-profits, getting involved in our communities, getting involved in local government so that we can take all this brand building and make this world a better place. So, hey guys, this was really terrific. I appreciate it. Let's just do a little lightning round of some last tidbits of information that might a patron or a participant that comes to the mastermind, what they'll go home with. Let's go right to you, Fernando.
So one of the things that I want to drive, that although the conversation is social media and brands, I want to talk about the end game. Why are we building a brand? Why are we on social media? Why are we joining the Chamber? Why are we throwing this event? To me personally, it all comes down to relationships. It's what I call relationship currency, and the future of the world, which is community currency. So we build the brand because it helps us expedite the process of building a relationship. Because when we meet someone for the first time, you have the 21 question game. When someone's already checked you up online and you have a sufficient brand and you're true on your values, on your pillars of content, and you've been consistent, when someone meets you, they already have an image where you can then continue to build more emotional rapport from there. Another benefit is that, in Henry, for example, he has such a strong brand that when you meet him, I want to know everything that's not about his brand, because I already feel like I know him. So now I want to get even deeper.
Yeah.
And that allows for real relationship, because you're going to go through the surface level of what do you do? How'd you do it? What's your story? Check out my Instagram, ask me something about today, something deeper. And it all stems through building relationships. So at the end of the day, building your personal brand, going on social media, what it's going to give you is an ecosystem. And all the time that you spent networking, going to chambers, joining groups, you can do the same concept now online. And that's really what I say would be the biggest takeaway. The one paradigm shift that they're going to walk away with is like, whoa, I can network from my laptop at the same rate, if not even faster. What can that do to a business? What can that do to revenue? What can that do to hiring more team members? It can expedite the process insanely.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. How about you, Henry?
So when we were all brainstorming about bringing, like, who do we want to show up at this event, right? And how are we going to impact their lives? We needed to dig deep into what some of the challenges and pain points were in these folks. And what we decided was there was a few things that really, really glared out to us, right? One was they feel like they're sort of just going through life, like life is happening to them, not for them, right? They were stuck in bad habits. They're trying to figure out their purpose in life. They're trying to figure out how to climb the corporate ladder, or they're trying to take their passion or something that they're really, really good at and monetize it to help other people, right? So what we want to do is provide solutions to help you guys get there. And so we've thought long and hard over what some of the challenges and pain points that some of these folks have been going through. And we created like profiles for these folks. And so what we decided to do was really put all of that into one event. So if you're an entrepreneur that's looking to generate more business, to really make an impact in your industry, I would highly advise that you come to this event, right? If you're in the executive world and you're looking to climb the ladder, who do you need to become to create that presence in your workplace so that you rise in the ranks and you create a name and legacy for yourself? This is the reason why we're the three of us and the Meadowlands Chamber is putting together this event. So I'm just trying to jam it all in here in the next 5 or 10 minutes, but I'm hoping this is resonating with some of the people that are listening.
No, that was perfect, Henry. And I think when you touched on before the format of the event, the subject matter experts, we're going to utilize many of the guests that have been on the Emerging Leader podcast since we launched as subject matter experts. They'll be there that night. So there'll be some really dynamic people in all different industries, marketing and real estate and professional services and enterprise companies that'll be on hand to talk and share their knowledge as well. So the 3 hours is it's action packed. It's great value. It's in a really cool setting at the Venetian and comfortable with, where you're networking and sitting at those subject matter expert tables while you're breaking some bread with some people or having a glass of wine and or a soft drink and just being with other people that are interested in learning and bettering themselves
and their organization and their teams.
Of course, and that just creates this great atmosphere of like-minded people not being afraid to learn, not being afraid to give of their successes and even war stories to one another, so that people benefit from all of that. That's why I am so stoked about the mastermind. So just let me recap it. It is, for our listeners, it is Wednesday, May 8th. Anybody that purchases a ticket to the mastermind, and I'm going to use the ClickFunnels the domain right now, and that is Meadowlands Millennial Mastermind.com, and there'll be lots of information on that where you can register for the event. Anybody that does register will also get free access to the Expo trade show floor earlier if they want to come earlier. So there's some extra value there. So you can come in and walk the show floor and do some networking prior to coming.
Food's included, right? Wine and beers also included.
Yeah, ticket price includes all of that. Access to the show floor, the reception food, the presentation, and then post networking after the presentation. So it's pretty power packed. It's a great value. And if anybody needs any other further information, please also, like I said, check the ClickFunnels domain, Meadowlands Millennial Mastermind.com, or feel free to contact the chamber office at meadowlands.org, and we'll be glad to help answer any questions you may have.
And we'll drop that link in the description of the podcast as well to make it real simple. Just click and off you go.
So, Henry, Fernando, thank you again for your time this morning. This was really informative. I hope our listeners will get a better understanding of what the Mastermind's all about, and be there, folks. It's going to be a powerful evening.
Take care, guys. Oh, real quick, before we forget, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast. And if you could leave a quick little written review, that would be amazing.
We love you guys.
You've been listening to the Meadowlands Chamber of Commerce Emerging Leaders Podcast, sponsored by Henry Kaminski Jr. and www.uniquedesigns.net. Don't forget to subscribe and stay connected with us by visiting www.meadowlands.org.